Hey, welcome to GMTV, show number 105. Hey, gentlemen, how you doing?
Hello,
Hey,
Will.
good. I was
Hey.
just back to you, Bill. I was just wondering. I came on and in backstage, you guys were talking something about fertilizing eggs, and I thought
Exactly.
I
Like
want
I
to.
had to get that right on the air.
I was
So
just yeah.
first of all, according to Bill Nolan, every chicken has eggs their own color, which doesn't explain why all the eggs at Stop and Shop look white or brown, exactly the same
Yeah.
color of
But
brown.
you have to believe that there's
Well, but
something
only
not
on Easter.
natural about that.
I don't know. Like, are they all genetically identical? Like the white egg chickens are all like
I
the
mean,
mice.
I just wonder if it's like, an egg factory, like,
Eh,
like chickens sitting in their thing and that. But if you own chickens, if you have them in your, each egg is different and each egg is cool. Like they have different designs. They're motley. They have like, here we have like this. We have it ingrained in us that like brown. Those are the eggs you need, brown one. But it's like, if you have chickens, it could be any freaking color. It could be brown, gray. It could look weird.
I don't know. Are brown eggs better for you? I think they are, but
I think they're not.
I don't think they are. Like I think they are. I've been led to believe they are, but I don't think so. I don't know.
Well,
This is
this was all precipitated by me, just commenting to Ed how much I loved looking at his like egg meals. And if he's got
Oh,
bacon
yeah,
as well,
yeah.
that really makes it for me. Like the whole like that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing the keto diet, so I'm staying away from bread and stuff. So I'm eating protein and fat, like all the other
Okay,
stuff.
I want to do like a photograph of my dinner, which is like a Gatorade, 3 Pop Tarts, and a celery stick. Because I'm nutritional.
You get
celery
Pop Tarts?
stick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's,
Bob tarts.
They're like they're the food of death. They're the
I
only
go to the
thing-
store. I go to the friggin' store and I walk down the aisle. So I'm just trying to avoid like unnecessary sugar and flour and bread and stuff like
luck.
that. It's
Yeah.
everything in the store. Like
yeah.
there are entire aisles dedicated to stuff that I cannot or I don't want to eat because I'll feel
Yeah.
better if I do.
Yeah.
well, like
yeah.
I think the tough thing is like the phrase "I don't want to eat." That's the tough part. It's like I literally go to things that I want to eat so bad, and then I don't buy them, and I do it as like an exercise. I do it just you can do this, man. You can
Self
do this.
punishment, like
Just
you're
stop
like
and myself.
you're like the Catholic. Who's the cult in the Catholic where they whip themselves?
Flagellating. Yeah.
There you go. They're flagellating. Like Pop Tarts.
Did you say flagellating?
No,
or
but I mean-
flagellating?
Flagellating. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
thank you.
But I do have
I'm
I do
clear on
have
that.
I have like coconut milk basmati rice waiting for me. I have like some chicken that I with kind of a nice breading on it that I have like sort of a yellow Thai chili sauce that's going to go on that.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of doing that's my kind of thing. But
That sounds good.
I ate all my string beans last night, so I wanted to.
Yeah,
Have
I'm eating a lot of vegetables, meat, vegetable protein, eggs. Is how this all started with eggs. My friend up here in Pennsylvania, my friend's husband brought me a dozen eggs, and they were all different colors, and they had like dirt on them and stuff. So they're
So they're real.
They had, like- look. As long as we're going there, right? A chicken has one hole, right? A chicken has a cloaca. It's called a cloaca, and
How do you
it's
know
like
these things?
if I know these things, right? So we had chicken. I'm not saying we had chickens as kids, and I looked. That didn't happen, but I read it like. I swear, I read it. That's gonna be my FBI file.
Yeah,
but,
that's gonna come
But
back, yeah.
like chickens have one hole, so eggs are like that's where everything comes out, on a chicken,
now, is
I
that true?
I want to go back
So
and find.
what- What
Go ahead.
economy? How fabulous!
That's right. The birds have a cloaca, and like it's just one in the front. We have like all kinds of orifices.
You know who else has a cloaca? Is hogs.
Is it
Hogs
true?
have a cloaca. because I when I was in advertising, we always used to gather funny ads, things that made us laugh, and I had a collection, and maybe next week I'll break it out just to show it, if there is a next week. But if I'll break it out. But it's like the hog hole bung dropper. It's a thing in hog something daily. Hog month. And it's this grotesque device that you put in, and you do this thing, and it's just it basically eviscerates and makes it ready for the bacon that you had this morning.
Yikes.
But cloaca, that's how I know that word, and it's so funny when you said that. I'm
A
like,
cloaca, yeah.
Why would they name a rock and roll festival in the desert for a
Cloaca, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, I'm doing a gig at Cloaca.
Right. It's part accordion, part cello, and part cloaca. It's Coachello. Yeah.
And
on
chickens.
spring break, I went to Cloaca. It's in Mexico. It's just
Right.
Cabo.
It's cool. Yeah,
Ironically,
it's
it's a volcanic island.
hot. It was full of hot chicks. Yeah.
My God.
Oh, man.
All right, Bill. On that, sing a song about a cloaca or eggs or.
This is my favorite song about Cloaca. That's just not going to happen. But
There is one.
I don't have a
There's
favorite
plenty
one.
in there
I have
somewhere.
a million favorite ones
Look,
about Cloaca.
there is one because all of the and Will Baird knows the people that wrote it. All the freaking folk music people all have chickens in their backyard.
I can look up at eggs, and I bet I will come back if you want me to after I play, and I will bring you 5 folk songs that are about eggs and chickens.
There it is. Do it.
Well, eggs and
Like a
chickens,
dare.
sure.
It'll be a
But
dare.
Cloaca, that's a different story.
Because it rhymes with, I don't know. Let's think about that too.
Right.
Good point.
So this is a Jason Isbell song because I have to play like a memorial service for a good friend of mine who passed away like a couple of years ago, and now because of COVID, we're just getting around to the thing. And he had Parkinson's, which was terrible, and But anyway, I'm trying to decide things to play there, and I can't tell whether this is just whether this just rip people up too much, but it might. But I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay. It's not the long flowing dress that you're in, or the light coming off of your skin, the fragile heart you protected for so long, or the mercy in your sense of right or wrong. It's not your hand searching slow in the dark, or your nails making love's watermark. It's not the way you talk me off the roof, like questions, like directions to the truth. It's knowing that this can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, and one day I'll be gone. One day you'll be gone. If we were vampires, death was a joke. We go out on the sidewalk and smoke, and laugh at all the lovers and their plans. It wouldn't feel the need to hold your hand. Maybe time running out is a gift. I'll work hard till the end of my shift, and give you every second I can find, and hope it isn't me who's left behind. It's knowing that we can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day you'll be gone, and one day I'll be gone. It's knowing that we can't go on forever. Likely one of us will have to spend some days alone. Maybe we'll get 40 years together, but one day I'll be gone. One day you'll be gone. I don't know.
Very
I don't know.
nice. Very nice.
That might be too heavy for.
So
No, that's a beaubeautiful song.
it is a beautiful song for a good
Yeah.
reason too.
Yeah, Jason. If you don't know Jason Isbell, he's really great. He has a band called the 400 Unit, I think, and I actually learned that song. Holly McCreary told me that. She exposed me to that song. And it's a great song, and then through that, I got into him, and I'm a late bloomer for him. Anyway,
I spoke to her the other day. I was driving to school in Bridgeport to teach electronic music to kids, and I thought of Holly, and I wanted to give her a call. So I called her up. She was in the recording studio in Danbury, I think, and she was putting the finishing touches on a record that her record that she's going to be coming out with this summer, and she decided to record unusual background noises. So she went in the studio in Danbury to do that. She's like, I want to talk to you, but I can't talk to you now because I'm in the studio. And I actually called her because she posted a picture of an accordion at the studio. I'm like,
oh yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, that's your idea of a crazy background thing? No, that was something else. But
That's a pretty little accordion, though, isn't it?
it really is.
I mean, you know more about accordions than anybody, but it's a pretty little one.
But that's the right answer, because accordions, okay, so I don't know what people who have lots of guitars think, but accordion players, I'll get one just because I think it's pretty.
There's no question. There's no question.
I have accordions that will probably never play again, but they're beautiful. They're maybe not even in good shape, but some craftsmen went to a lot of trouble to cut out little things and varnishing, and they're very, very beautiful, and I'm happy to have a pile of them that will probably never play.
I think that accordions are generally prettier than guitars. There are some guitars, and guitar, the concept of guitar beauty is very subjective. It may not be the combination of wood with abalone and it's ebony and koa and blah, blah, it might be that, or it might be something that's so simple or so fucked up. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in there they had the Fender Esquire. An Esquire is a Telecaster with only one pickup. It's very early Fender. And they have Jeff Beck's Telecaster that he had on the cover of the Yardbirds album, Having a Rave Up. And that was maybe their second album, and it was just after Eric Clapton had left, and now Jeff Beck came in. And I looked at this thing. It was beat to hell, and it was not unlike looking at Jeff Beck today versus looking at Jeff Beck on the cover of that thing. It's like experience and beat to hell and stuff, but still cool, man, and still looking good, looking better than Keith Richard. I'm sorry, but, he's still, it's just like this guitar had been through the world and shaved off at the top, so it sort of was more like a Strat at the top and down, and, all beat. I mean, what's more beautiful?
It's funny you say that, because I was watching a performance of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and first my first impression of the video was the lead singer looks like all three Stooges in one guy, ridiculous haircut. He's bouncing around, but the guitar player was playing the guitar player who's not the guy you notice in that band. It was sort of hanging out in the back, and he's got a guitar that is the varnish. You could see where his fingernail scratched the varnish off 1 gig at a time over 25, 30, 40 years, whatever it is. And so I guess if you're loyal to your instrument, then you carry it till you die.
Well, I can, I appreciate a beautiful guitar, beautiful guitar with, lots of candy on it. That's what I call the abalone and all that stuff, and inlays. Not too much, just enough so that it's gorgeous. But I almost like more like a guitar that's beaten to shit. I like Willie Nelson's guitar. That every year in either Acoustic Guitar Magazine or Guitar Player, they do an article on that year's rent, trying to refurb Willie's guitar, and they're like, at this point it barely has any structure left to it. It's like
Right.
it's a hole with the guitar wrapped around it. And it's there's just something so, because to me, these instruments should be played. They should be played. Like I would never. This thing I've beaten the crap up. You can maybe see, but the at the F hole.
Mm-hmm.
Watch your language. We can't.
Yeah.
I play in a percussive style, and you see how beaten that is. It's like it's worn
you can
down.
see there, right along the bottom.
I don't have an interest in aftermarket. Like that's not my thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I lost you. We lost you.
His sound just disappeared. He turned some switch.
Oh
and that
no,
was
he
that.
unplugged his I know what you did. You unplugged your snowball.
Oh man. Oh,
You
he
said
uses a
F
snowball.
hole. You said F hole, and all of a
And
sudden you're
that's right.
off the air because
Yep,
you
that's
unplugged
right.
the
Yeah.
cord from your F hole in your
Alexa,
microphone.
I don't think he can
He'll
even
get
hear
it.
us.
No, we don't have you yet. You have to go into your audio control panel. Oh my God, He unplugged it. He's talking, but we don't hear you, Bill Melvin.
What's funny?
There he is.
Oh my God, he's back.
What's funny is what happens when you mess with that connection, as we both discussed, which is a crappy design element of these things. When you mess with that, it goes right to mute. Like if you screw with it, it goes to mute. So I'm just like, I didn't mute it, and I didn't hit that button that says mute.
It's some safety feature, I'm sure, so that it doesn't go bang, it turns on some mic.
AC/DC, that's so nobody dies.
Right.
Well, so just so that you are aware, songs about eggs, not to dwell on it, but there's the Beastie Boys' Eggman, 1989.
Yeah.
There's Ham and Eggs by A Tribe Called Quest. I don't even know how that even got onto this thing. And then How Do You Like Your Eggs in the Morning, Dean Martin.
Nice.
And I'm Putting All My Eggs in One Basket, Louis Armstrong.
You know what? I appreciate that you looked up eggs, but we weren't exactly talking just about eggs. We were talking about cloacas, and I looked up songs that have the word. So there are various artists named Cloaca and Cloacas, right? There are songs by Dr. Real and Lil Suppa called Cloaca. And then there's The Year of the Fox has an album called Cloaca. And for those of you just joining, that means chicken hole, okay? And my favorite one, oh, where did it go? There is Necrobot. There's a band called Necrobot, and they have a song called Okay, take two. They have a song called Necrobot. Song is called Cloacal Kiss.
Oh God!
Wow.
Oh God! Oh,
Holy
man.
moly.
Let's go back to talking about guitars. Jesus Christ!
On Spotify, ladies and gentlemen. You can go watch
you know,
it on Spotify.
Let's see you make those rhymes, Howard Arlen. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like,
Pete Seeger had chickens on his boat, whatever. But
wow.
I did look up the manual of folk music, which is called,
manual of folk
which
music.
is called Rise Up Singing, which was actually originally based on a concept by by Pete Seeger, which has like 2,000 folk songs in it.
Oh my God! So that's the real book of the.
Yeah, but I couldn't spell the words, so I couldn't find the.
You know what I really love about like the folk movement. I was just, as ancient as I am, I was just a year or two too young to really be part of like the Night Owl in the Village and that kind of thing. I was there for like the small club scene, Cafe Go-Go, Cafe Wild, like all that stuff. But I didn't see like the folk guys. I never had a shot to see Dylan or, all of Gordon Lightfoot or all those guys when they were playing club stuff. But the funny thing, there was a magazine called Sing Out, and Sing Out, the folk singers, super pro union, heavily lefties, all this, but in their heart, despite all the songs that were singing that were counter to this, they were more fascist than almost any music movement I could ever think of, because God forbid, like Dylan, God forbid you pick up an electric guitar. Suddenly they're on you with the pitchforks and the torches, and like they want to hang you by your thumbs. You know, like they had like such a narrow parameter of what was acceptable. Mm-hmm. And you know, I happen to like everything. You know, I came up with Peter, Paul, and Mary. That was my thing. You know, but it was like, and you know, Woody Guthrie and all that. That's great. But you read these magazines, and like really, they had zero tolerance for anyone who didn't, you know, apply to that book that you have right there or whatever. You know, it was like
it's written by, it's a Sing Out publication, by the way. That's who published it.
Yeah,
so
well, I mean,
about Sing Out.
By Sing, it's part of Sing Out, is that?
But it is true. I mean, it's the folk Gestapo. I when I played Club Passim in Cambridge, which is sort of at the tail end of the shriveling folk movement, I asked, "Where do I plug in?" And they went, "Plug in." You know, I was like, "Uh-oh," you know, and I'm standing.
And I think Cambridge was, you know, really as robust as the Village was. You know, I think
it was. Yeah.
You know, Cambridge had a big scene there, and maybe it was a little more towards the late '60s. You know, where you have like the Bonnie Raitt and those kind of the people that played up there. You know, a lot. But,
I mean, Jax,
but you know, fascists. They're freaking. You know, I have a T-shirt, a Woody Guthrie. You know, it's like a guitar, and it just says, "This machine kills fascists." You know,
right.
and
I've seen that.
They're fighting about the Spanish Civil War and all this shit, but at the same time, you've got an electric guitar. Kill him, you know.
Exactly. Guy says don't forget Frank Zappa's duodenum. I don't remember biology class. Do I have a duodenum? What is a duodenum?
Do you want one?
I'm not so sure.
Do you want one?
You could get one, but it's in Thailand. You know.
Exactly. I will choose cloaca over duodenum because I'm just not sure what a duodenum is at this point.
I think the duodenum is further up inside, so that might be more desirable.
Inside what?
And isn't it? I mean, is it duodenum or is it duodenum?
Like duodenum, exactly. Yeah, it's a Levi's product.
Yeah.
All right, Bill Nolan.
You know, since you're, you know, I'll play something, but since you're looking up stuff, see if they have the bunghole dropper. Like, see if that's there, because you might get a print ad for this freaking pig thing that just. All right. So this is a Steely Dan song that was never on an album. It was on only an EP, and this, along with another song called Dallas, they did on this EP. And the reason they didn't put it on their album, you know, like Can't Buy a Thrill, their first album, was because they thought it pigeonholed them sort of as a country band. And Dallas was actually later recorded by Poco. But this is a song called Sail the Waterway, and I always liked it, and I couldn't understand why they were so uptight about it. But maybe they were folk singers, and no, don't say that to Pete. Don't say that to Donald Fagen. He'll kill you. This is called Sail the Waterway. My old man, he'd been around the world, and he tells me everything. Told me how to tie a sailor's knot, and maybe how to sing. Though my man and I got it together, he don't know what to do. He said, come on and sail the waterway, it feels so good to you. Come on and sail the waterway, it feels so good to you. What am I hitting here? Oh, the capo is sliding off the guitar, that's why. It's a professional show, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds better. Even if it's the wrong chord, yeah. You can tell your man amazing, I won't believe it's true. Today I saw you selling door to door, and you really makes me blue. You're betting your dollar on the wind and the rain when you put your money down. Say, come on and sail the waterway, it turns your head around. Come on and sail the waterway, turn your head around. You know the tide is high, the westward wind won't quit you. You know what you got to do, 'cause the time is right and the tide will wait for you. say the tide is high, the westward wind won't quit you. You know what you got to do, 'cause the time is right, the tide will wait for you. Come on and sail the waterways with you. Baby, come on and sail the waterway with you. Darling, come on and sail the waterway with me. Come on and sail the waterway with me. Wow.
Now you made it through.
Beautiful. Yeah,
I
that's
totally
right.
pulled that out of my cloaca. I'll
Nice
tell you that.
recovery.
That was-
Yeah. Oh, and here we
Yes, yes.
go. Oh my God.
It's
That's
it's
it. I have a.
it's the
preview.
hog bung dropper. Oh yeah,
Jarvis
that's the
hog bung dropper.
that is the
Okay.
nicest picture on the internet of the hog bun dropper, along with specifications.
I can say
Well,
we've just.
the thing I have is I have a print ad that has more of a a halftone photograph of the thing, and you look at it and it's like, oh my friggin' God,
Yeah.
I didn't know that Marquis de Sade was in the hog business. Like, what the hell, it's just like, woo.
I think we just lost all female viewers. at this
Exactly.
point.
Now
It's like,
viewership is zero. No, just kidding.
You know
I'm
what?
Just going like these guys belong in high school.
If you can't stand the heat, get away from the cloaca.
Okay.
Oh my God! And so what? So Madison Avenue is actually responsible from the hog bung dropper.
Well, this was, I had a collection of things on my wall at one agency I worked at, a place called McCann Erickson. I had a cork wall, like one cork wall, which a man like me just has to fill up with shit, So a lot of it I filled up with those dolls that used to come. I don't know if they were American Girl or they're beyond that, but those ads just cracked me up. It's like, Tracy, she's a little Irish girl from blah, 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 and the picture was creepy. And, I had 30 of those. I had other things. And then this thing, the cloaca thing, I had 2 of them. It was the hog bunghole dropper. And then
Was it like that?
just imagine, I don't even know what goes where, but obviously on the right side of that, there's some sort of air compressor thing. And maybe,
Oh my God! It's definitely something out of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, Jarvis is the brand name. I bet they're number one in cloaca.
They're number one in bunghole droppers.
When it comes to bunghole dropping, nobody does it like Jarvis. Nobody.
Jarvis.
Nobody does it like
We
Jarvis.
they
drop
make a
more
meat-
bungholes.
I'll do the.
I
You
mean,
come up with the
bunghole
tagline.
dropper.
You come up with the
Oh
tagline.
my.
I'll do the voiceover. The bunghole
Last time
dropper
I
you
saw a
can't live
bunghole
without.
dropper, I think it was at Plato's Retreat. I think it was, but that was a long time ago.
Hold on, I'm going on eBay next. Do another song. Basically, the show on this music, the music on this show is to break up the jokes, so we have time to write the jokes.
There's no question about it. This is just wallpaper.
Yeah.
Believe
Two of
me.
us are writing while one of us.
This
is
just
singing.
allows our staff to go online and come up with the content.
That's what it is.
This is a Ricky Lee Jones song that I like very much. I'm so tight tonight. Jesus. So I was working at the Nero's Nook downtown, selling articles of Congress to these people town. He was pretty sick on the boho. Weasel in a white boy's cool. Weasel in a white boy's cool. Weasels in a white boy's cool. Sal lives in a black vinyl pen in New Jersey. Buys his meat from the whore next door. Wants it rare, but he rarely gets it well. Weasel on a short order floor. 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 So Sal, say goodbye to the mom and your daddy. Sal, say goodbye to the barrio. Sal, say goodbye to your buddies and your pals, Angela, Perry, and Mario. Kid sinister with the blues, stop blues. A quarter could take you home. A dime could make a dream come true. But Weasel ain't got a dime for the phone. 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 So Sal, say goodbye to your mom and your daddy. Sal, say goodbye to the barrio. Sal, say goodbye to the buddies and your pals, Angela, Perry, and Mario. It's one of those songs that I really love playing guitar on, solos on. But I won't be doing that. Or maybe I will. No, I guess I won't. You took to dancing in the welfare line, Sal, acting like some jerk-off fool, when we could lay out eating peaches on the beaches. Weasel in a white boy's cool. Weasel in a white boy's cool. Weasel in a white boy's cool. We're all in a white boy's school, you know. Woo! You know, kids, as long as you're having fun, and by that I mean me, that's sort of all that matters, because I really don't. It's different than being someplace where you actually see people going like, "What is wrong with you?"
That's true.
That was great. Well, you loosened up during the song, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
you
That
did.
sounded
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I got the third verse was right on the money.
Yeah, what kind of crazy stuff is going on in that song? That's really cool.
There's some good. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it was funny. I was, I forget. Maybe it was Christine Cook. I saw her post something on Facebook about going to see Ricky Lee, and it was terrible, and she was awful, and
Really?
all that. And Ricky Lee's a little bit like Van Morrison, who was also referenced in that same stream on Facebook. Like occasionally,
Just
they're
off.
artists of a certain type, and I don't know what the dynamic is, but sometimes, I've seen Van be awful. I've never really seen Ricky Lee be awful, because I kind of know what she does, and it's like my expectations are, she's kind of from the Tom Waits school of pretension, like she
Boom!
no, but she kind of, I read her book, and she comes by some of her crazy stories legitimately. Like her life story is crazy. Her family is crazy. The whole thing is crazy. When I first heard her first album, which had like,
Before Chucky's in Love,
Yeah.
right?
Chucky's in Love,
It was on the album.
yeah, that album Weasel and the White Boy Cool was on that album. Young Blood. There's some songs on there's some songs on that album that are like off the chart, like standards. There's a song called Company that really is a standard. It's whether it's treated as such doesn't really matter. But she's always had great bands, and I saw her a bunch of times, but now like everybody else, it's like she's old. I'm old. Like what the hell? It's like,
We got scratches in us ourselves.
yeah. But I love what she does. Because again, that Tom Waits thing is, if you're going from the school of something, Tom Waits is not a bad place to be, from the school of. And they were actually romantically linked at one point. So
What?
she actually came by it by having her cloaca freaking violated.
That's
Hello.
right. Yeah. Good God.
That's
Oh
right.
my God.
Right, Ed, is
Tom
the FCC
Waits?
Is the FCC work on this thing, or is this? We're beyond that kind of crap, right?
Ricky Lee Jones and Tom Waits. I can't believe it.
That's hard to envision. I saw her in 1990 in New York, and she was great. I mean,
Yeah.
every second of the show, and I
Yeah.
wasn't that into her music until I saw her live, and
Yep.
she was a little off the wall, but but not that much. In between tunes, she kept saying, "You get what you give, and you give what you get." Really fast. And she must have said that like 75 times, throughout the show. It was like, okay, she's got a message, but it was a great show and great band, and
Yeah, her bands were always good. She had these two guys, Buzzy Featon and Neil Larson, who had their own careers on their own. Neil Larson's a great keyboard player, Ed, like really great. And they were in her band, and there's some good stuff on YouTube of them playing, like on the Old Gray Whistle Stop. There's some TV show called the Old Gray Whistle. There's a great thing.
yeah.
And
I think I remember the show.
yeah, and I mean, she's ambitious. What she does is not, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many great female artists. I mean, so many great. I mean, I really almost gravitate more to that than I do to the men. And I play female stuff, and it's stupid, but I do it anyway. It's like I play Joni Mitchell stuff. I don't care. Joni Mitchell and the Grammys. That was hard to watch the other day. That was big.
Oh, is that right? I missed the Grammys. So what happened there?
She was there. She came up. It was all treated with respect and everything. But what would get maybe right now the world's greatest curmudgeon in music, who is Joni? Because Joni's funny. Joni was always like the iconoclast. She was always the person who went by her own drum, and she wants to do an album called Mingus and just have it like everybody wants Court and Spark, do it again, or Blue, do it again, and that's not her. She's an artist. She goes on and on and on, and the problem with it, she has she bitches about it later on about not having the same amount of success as somebody else. And to me, you get what you pay for, like I am eternally in love with everything she does. Todd Rundgren, what I love about him is like, he doesn't bitch about what didn't happen for him. He had hits. He could have had more hits. He didn't care. He almost reinvented himself on every album. And it's kind of like, he doesn't sit there now and go like, oh shit. What he does now is he tours his ass off. He tours with everybody. He tours with the Beatles band. He tours with, because he needs to make money.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the only way to make money now. Yeah.
The question is, do you sell yourself out, and do the same song over and over and over and over and over, and then you bum out that you did that?
Well, she had a great line from an album called Miles of Isles, which was a live album. It was when she was touring with a band that was really put together from the LA Express, which was Tom Scott, the great sax player. It was his band. The guitarist was Robin Ford, who was one of my favorite guitarists, like top 5 guitarists for me.
Sure.
And at one point, she's talking to the crowd, and she's fielding, people in the crowd going, play, blah, play Chelsea Morning, play this, play that.
Yeah.
And she's going like, what if anybody said to Picasso, play the Blue Period? It's like, that's a great fucking, that is a great perspective. That is a great perspective for an artist. You don't go backwards, and you do whatever you have to do. Like James Taylor has a line in the song that plays, where he's talking about I forget if it's Never Die Young or one of these songs where he's talking about everybody's out there, you know, with a bucket of chicken and a blanket and listening to Fire and Rain over and over again, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But he, you know, like most people who are smart, like Todd Rundgren, like everybody else, you know, they love their fans, they respect their fans, they cater to their fans, but not to a point where, you know, they sort of. The fans have to grow with them. The fans have to like go a little place with them, but they will always come back at some point and show the fans that they, you know, I know what you like, and here we're going to play that. You know, it's tough.
Yeah, it's
tough.
an interesting.
If I had a hit, I'd know how tough it is, but I don't. So it's like
I was recently a weird thing happened to me. I can't go into all of it, but I
come
you know,
on, Ed.
I've been playing
Go into
like
all of it.
I've been
Did it
playing.
involve your cloaca?
I've been playing these things lately. You know, these little weird modular synthesizers and. You know, stuff like this and, you know, like weird stuff. And I was streaming some of it in the middle of the night on Facebook Live and with no intention of anything except maybe to annoy somebody if they happen to wake up. Like
someone
if
in
they're
Czechoslovakia just presses the live button and goes,
right, or if they didn't like hit the switch on their iPhone and like it goes ding and Train is live and they're like, oh, let's see what that is, and it's like and it's me playing all these weird friggin' things, right? You know, like. You know, I put red knobs on my Moog synthesizer that I built, right? You know, so but so I'm playing these things, right? And I'm exploring what is music and what are the boundaries of music. You know, like it's not sitting down at a piano or an organ and playing parts or chords or you know that sort of thing. Yeah. And I got a call from a guy who's pretty famous who wanted me to play on a record of his, which is a jazz record, oddly enough. And he wants me. I'm actually playing mostly this guy. So don't steal my patch. That's one of my patches. And like,
isn't that the name of your next album? Don't steal my patch.
Don't steal my patch. This guy. And so anyway, so I was in his studio, like which is like lined with Grammy awards and whatnot. And he said that he now devotes his time to commercial work. For about 2/3 of his time, but he said music is art, and he still spends about 1/3 of the year developing his own music that is his art, and I respect that immensely.
Niles Rodgers.
No, okay. Not Nile Rodgers. Nile Rodgers, call me. But another super good guy, and I will reveal that as soon as we're done with the record, whatever. But you know, like as a keyboard player, you know, like I was at the Bijou last. I played at the Bijou with the British Legends of Rock, and we did the Who, and we did the Beatles and whatnot.
I saw a clip of you doing Zeppelin.
Yeah, it's super fun and whatever, but like that's my level as a keyboard player to play in like a local band and play at a festival or play whatever. And I'm very happy with that. I consider that to be a win for me. I'm not like, oh, I want to go on tour with blah blah blah, right? That's not my thing. I don't have the chops for that. I don't want to be on the road that much. But you know, I'm thinking of actually turning these things into a little bit of a recording career now. And we'll see where that goes, because like to me, you know, this guy, right? That's work, you know, because I know how to play that. Yeah. And I'm good, but I'm only this good. Like, you know, in this scale, I'm somewhere in here.
You're pretty good though.
But I'm not good enough to play like, oh, we're making a Grammy award-winning record. Would you like to play piano on it? Like, I'm not that guy.
The
right?
go-to guy for that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But for this, I could maybe nobody knows what it is. Like I have to get a tape and cover up what it is.
How did you get this connection?
He called me on my Facebook Live streams. You know,
so there is something to this that it has benefited one human being.
Right. He was like, what the hell are you doing? Like it was like 1 a.m. and I'm playing extremely. I'll download and play one, and I'll play a little bit of it. And you'll be like, what the hell is that? You know.
No, but it's like, you know, I absolutely like. I just picked up a gig. A friend of mine turned me onto this gig. I'm playing some guy's mother-in-law's 80th birthday party. Okay, so 80th birthday party. So I get in touch with them, and I'm really comfortable in a solo thing, doing whatever the fuck. Yeah, I don't really care, and.
Right.
But they said, and you could play some of my mom's, favorite songs. And I'm thinking like, wow, what could that be? Like
Yeah,
8
which
years old.
ones are they?
I said, it'll be, and the first stuff they said to me was like, House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, anything by the Beatles, and La Bamba.
Wow, mom's
And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Mom, I'm like almost a decade younger than you. And yet, that's all in my wheelhouse. But I said to the guy in the beginning, I said, I would like to hear what she'd like to hear, and I want to play everything she wants to hear. I want you to give me a list, but I have to tell you in advance, I'm not a jazz player. I'm not like, I can only do what I can do, and I can do a lot, not great, but I can do it, and, when you come out and it's like, that's your call. You're in one.
That's right. There's a peppy tune.
You're calling for a song that came out in 1965, and it's like I was expecting stuff that came out in 1958 or something like
I'm
that.
going to work on my Louis Armstrong stuff. Yeah.
I got some Sinatra in my bag. I'd like to learn more if she wanted that.
Yeah.
But anything by the Beatles, I'm like, oh, geez, how will I ever come up with a Beatles song?
Well, I was playing in the. There's a park near where I live in Cambridge, and I was playing there last year during the summer, and there's this black lab who will walk over and sits down in back of my amp. And he's done this like repeedly, and I said, "This is really cute and everything." And his owner said, "He's deaf." And he could feel the vibration, and I thought, "Oh, thank you very much."
Great.
And then he said he can feel the vibration of the amplifier. And
That's great.
Yeah,
But that's amazing, though. He likes the vibrations, and
Right.
He wasn't like, yeah.
And I wonder if like vibrations, and perhaps Professor Train can come up with this.
Wrong kind of guy.
Whether
Yeah.
vibrations have like some sort of like, to quote the Beach Boys, are there good vibrations and bad vibrations? Like, do vibrations do just those things, the sound waves, without any audio attached to them?
Right.
Do they create anything that someone could perceive that would sit there and go like, oh, I like this, whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah. Well, I had a guy at the park that same on one day who I got done playing Stand By Me, and he's sitting at a bench with his back to me, and he turns over and he goes, "Hey!" By the way, I played Stand By Me, and he goes, "Hey, that was the best version of Sitting by the Back of the Bed I ever heard." He goes back to reading his paper.
But do you know anything by Benny King? So, Will, when you do this stuff, do you sing?
No, not anymore. I used to, but those are my singing days are over. Based on what Dr. Song says, believe it or not, this doctor at the Mass Eye and Ear Infirmary is named Dr. Changun Song, and he's the person who told me don't sing.
Right. Hey, Nick Carter, you're echoing. Do you have your headphones?
Yeah, I'm trying to cure that now.
Oh, you figure it out.
It's Train, now you're echoing.
You're saying you
No.
hear an echo?
Yeah, that's you echoing. Yeah.
Interesting.
You got to put headphones
We
on.
were all inside a giant cloaca or something.
You might have it.
I'm going to mute you until you figure it out.
Yeah, you might have it open in another browser simultaneously. That was how I screwed up my show.
Oh, that might be. Yeah, you got it on
Yeah,
your
I had
iPhone or on something else. But I don't see headphones. Maybe you
Yeah.
got your fancy in-ear monitors in there or something. But
That's true.
it's
Yeah.
because you have audio going in the room, and we can figure it out. Hey, Bill Noman, you want to do one more before we?
I'm going to do a great historical song. I generally pride myself in deep cuts. This is not a deep cut, but this is a great song. Virgil Kane's my name, and I served on the Danville train. Stoneman's cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the summer of '65, we were hungry, just barely alive. By May the 10th, Richmond had fell. It was a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, all the bands were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, And all the people were singing, they said, na, 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 na. Back in my wife in Tennessee, when one day she called to me, Virgil, quick come see, there goes Robert E. Lee. Now I don't mind chopping wood, and I don't care if the money's no good. You take what you need and you leave the rest. You should never have taken the very best. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, all the people were singing. They said, na, 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 na. Like my brother before me, I will work the land. Like my brother before me, I took the rebel stand. I was just 18, proud and brave, when a Yankee laid him in his grave. I swear by the mud before my feet, you can't raise a cane back up when he's on the street. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went, na, 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 na. The night they drove old Dixie down, and the bells were ringing. The night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing. They went, na, 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 na. Woo! The band does the Beatles ending.
Nice. Hey
Like
there,
that.
Carter.
Hey guys.
There you
to be
go.
back.
He fixed it.
Back. Yeah.
So I just caught the last four notes.
Ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, and it was recognizable. But what's the name of that tune, Bill?
The night they drove
Old Dixie Down. Of
down.
course, great
Now,
sound.
I've been wondering, is that like song? Because I've been wanting to play it, but in public. But is it now politically incorrect? I mean, now that they're like tearing down statues of Confederate.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so, because I mean, to me, this song is very much, you know, there's an element of here where he talks about Robert E. Lee, and he says, I don't mind chopping wood, and I don't care if the money's no good. You know, you take what you need and you leave the rest, but you should never have taken the very best. You know, he's talking about, you know, just the price of war, like, you know, like
Right.
the war being conducted in your backyard. And the guy who I thought got it kind of wrong, there's a song I do occasionally by Elton John called Guns of My Father, which I think the whole world, and particularly Britain, they listened to everything the band did. The first two albums of the band, they were like fixated on this because they so beautifully sort of grabbed onto what later on became
Americana.
called Americana. You know, like Robbie Robertson, the Canadian, could write more great American songs than anybody.
it's true.
You know,
Irony. Yeah.
and you know, Elton writes his song, and it's all kind of like, you know, once the war's over, we'll go back to our farms, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, we'll be working there, Elton, you know. But it's a good song. But you know, I think this one is okay. I mean, for me, but you know,
Yeah,
I'm
too
not
bad
really
General
concerned
Sherman
with
like
that
burned
shit
down.
anyway, honestly. It'd be different if I said like the South will rise again. That's different, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a little bit more explicit. Okay, cool. So that means that I'm allowed to learn that, and maybe nobody will come up and maybe somebody else will say that's the best version of Country Roads that I ever heard.
Smoke on the Water I've ever heard.
It's like, thank you.
That's my speed.
Well, and Ed always points out that nobody can recognize my songs anyway, so I can probably get away with it, and it wouldn't matter.
Right. Ultimately, it doesn't matter.
Good point.
Right. Ultimately.
So I know that I just want Bill Nolan to see this video, right? So I have.
Oh God! No! Not my
I'm going to
eyes,
play a
please.
video at the risk of getting blocked. This is a crazy. So I have been pushing with these things. I've been pushing the limit of what is music, right? And so I was talking with So what I was doing was I was talking with, my students. I've got this like focus group once a week with all these high school students. Yeah. And I sit down with them and I go, all right, today we're not doing normal stuff. We're talking about weird stuff, right? I want to talk about stuff that you think you might like, but you don't like it, and so we're talking about music that they've seen or heard that they're like, I can't take it. It's pretty much everything that we listen to, right?
Yeah, wouldn't you be? Ain't that the
major cringe factor?
This descending bass line, I can't stand it.
But then we accidentally, so we're sitting, it's like when you're on your phone and you're like, God, I'm going to get nothing but ads for like the pig butt thing that you were talking about. You can't say anything. You can't say anything, and you get ads or whatever. So all of a sudden, we're watching these videos of these songs which we don't like, and now they're like pushing stuff to me now, right?
Yeah,
so this is what came out. And then we'll bring you on, Wilbur. You've got to see this. And Bill Nolan, I hope you're just putting your guitar down. There you are.
I'm looking for the ads.
Wait till you see. Wait till you see this. So this is. I'm gonna spoiler alert. This is opera, French folk music on traditional instruments, death metal, and and other things. Here we go. And there it is.
The only part of that I found even mildly not in my wheelhouse was kind of like, kind of like the devil voice, like that
The
part.
death metal.
Yeah, the rest of it, it sounds very French, and
Oh my God! Super talented bass player and super talented guitar player, but they're whack jobs.
Yeah,
Great.
très français.
Oh my
But
God!
I liked it.
And the woman was singing opera with her dog in a towel. You gotta love it.
Right.
Did you play with them on that?
No. I'm not playing with. I just discovered them, and they're like a French band, and they're nuts.
They're good though.
They're good, right?
They're very good.
So I've got another video.
you know-
Picky's like, no, I'm not putting up with this shit.
Well, I mean, to play like that, you obviously you're breaking all kinds of rules, but you got to know those rules to pull it off.
They're obviously super talented players, and
Yeah.
they got a great sense of humor. And to me, that goes a long way. And
Yeah.
super good, super good. Bill
Now,
Norman, where'd you go?
I don't know where Bill went.
I'm
Bill
looking
looks
through
like he's
this
frozen.
file that I'm trying to find the bunghole dropper ads. But I'll
Did
have
you-
that for next week.
Do you know what we're talking about, Nick Carter?
No.
Which not now. No. What are you
You're-
talking
Oh my
You're
God!
lucky.
All right, so
You
we're
don't
talking
wanna know.
about this,
Oh God!
right? So Bill Norman talked about how exactly that's my look like. I was like, "What is
Is that
that?"
a
Right?
colonoscopy tool? What is
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
That is exactly what it is.
it's
No
a
kidding.
Jarvis bunghole dropper,
Nice.
which is a product for agriculture, and you probably couldn't afford one. I looked on eBay, like parts are
Wow.
like $400.
Yeah.
that? So
So-
for animal things.
Something to do with animals. Yes, let's
Yeah.
leave it at that.
I was hoping it was something out of Men in Black, but I don't think I'm.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Yes,
Nice.
the bunghole dropper.
just
My
stick
God!
with it.
Wow.
Wow.
Kids, I'm afraid that's a real product.
That's I mean, that's the scary thing.
Thank you,
is
Bill
it's,
Norman, for sharing the bunghole
Yeah,
dropper and
that
your
is really
and
special.
your music.
Yeah,
Well,
you're-
next week, I hope to have the actual print ads here that I can show. Maybe I'll distribute them in advance so
Yeah.
you can post them, Ed. And I'm going to send you this really great Dobro song that thing that you just played reminds me of a lot. And it's a guy who actually lived in Connecticut who actually passed away. But he like some of these Dobro players, they're just like, what?
That's
how
a
do you-
whole thing.
Yeah,
I
they're
worked
whole-
with those
Major
guys.
skill.
Yeah.
hard to find too.
Major
Yeah,
capability, man.
very hard to find.
Very cool. All right. Well, Bill Norman, are you going to run off and eat your very super tasty dinner you talked about?
I am, but I
So
I
what are
will
you having?
listen to everything afterwards, and I hate to be rude if this is being rude.
It's all good. Go eat your tasty dinner.
So
Good to
what-
see you.
What are you dining on, Bill? Before you go.
I have made some chicken. I sort of baked some chicken with sort of a breaded kind of thing. I'm going to
Nice.
serve that with a yellow kind of Thai curry sauce, and then I have
Nice.
some coconut basmati rice that has
I
like
am impressed.
shallots and
This is the
scallion
second
and shit in
time
it.
tonight he has used the word basmati. By the way,
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll throw basmati around. I'll throw that.
We'll be
close.
right over.
Maybe. There's a couple of words that just are in my vernacular, and those are two of them.
Nice. Delicious. Bon
All right, Bill
appetito.
Norman, good to
Bon
see you.
appetito.
Take care,
Good to
Bill.
see you,
See you,
gentlemen.
man. Stay
You're
stay
welcome.
well.
Bye, everybody.
Bill
So-
Norman. Oh, look, we got the weirdo 3 side-by-side thing
Yeah,
going.
that's
That's
right.
pretty
It's
cool.
triplets. Yeah.
I know. I kind of liked it there.
Yeah.
We're going to the next
If I
segment
move
like
this-
that.
Oh wait, there we go. Now we're balanced.
There you
Hey.
go. It's like, I don't know, you know,
Yeah, just in the right center.
like
here.
a Picasso, you know.
Yeah.
But so Will Baird, I know you got to run off tonight about 9:00. So why don't you play a couple numbers? What are you
Yeah,
gonna do
sure.
for us?
Will do. Well, this tune is it's a combination of death metal and French opera and polka music. I mean, seriously, that is like, you want me to follow that?
At least I didn't show you the chickens playing the piano. Like that's another video I have.
Like that's an act I want to follow.
That's
yeah.
one to hang around for.
Nick Carter's gonna have to go after that one. Yeah.
Following poultry. I love it.
Exactly.
All right, over to you.
So I'm gonna do this. I did this a couple of months ago in a different way. This is Suzanne Vega's Luca.
Nice. Go for it.
That was gorgeous.
Thank you. Thanks.
Can I ask a couple questions? I love the solo work you did, but I was just as intrigued at your backing track. So you lay down your backing track, and then you have a way while you're on with Ed and me to activate the playback, so you can kind of roll right with it.
Actually, everything is recorded in tracks, just as if you were doing a song, except that there's no vocals.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I'll lay down like a scratch track for the melody as if it was vocals, and then I'll harmonize to that, and then I'll do a final real melody track. Well,
Do you have a foot pedal to activate it, Will?
yeah, there's a foot.
Okay.
Basically, I have a foot pedal that has all of my songs stored in it.
Yep.
And then I just have to remember what number each
Yeah,
song
sure.
is.
It's a great system to do that. As a matter of fact,
Amazing.
I
Very
went out and bought exactly the same system that he has.
Oh, that was hilarious that day. Yeah. Yep.
It's because I had to do a polka show on accordion, and there's no way I could play all the different instruments, and so I laid it out as a track act, and I was like, all right, I have a set list, and I can go next song, and hit start,
Yep.
and it went off great,
Yeah.
Well, like,
It's really
that gives- yeah.
it's wonderful. The only thing that's tricky about it is there's some studio stuff about it I still don't quite get. I need to ask you for advice. on
I'd love
that.
to know what the tool is, or what the app is, or what the gear is, because I've got songs, from this recording project, and there's vocal tracks, but I've got some songs. In fact, all the songs have also been put together with no voice, right? just at minus ones.
Sure.
And it's occurred to me more than once, I go do a solo gig.
Right.
I mean, why couldn't I just sort of pop a pedal and play along
Have the
You
band.
got it.
with my band,
Yep.
in a way, in a loud place or a restaurant that might go over?
Yep.
So-
It gives a broader
We'll send you
sound.
that. I'll send it to you, or Will,
Yeah,
you
just
send
give
it
us
to him.
information because I obviously you can't you can't be caught playing around with your laptop while you're performing. So
Well,
Well,
the
that's-
the
yeah.
big risk too is that when you gig with a computer,
Yeah.
that one day it's like, oh, sorry, blue screen, or sorry, it's not working right. I got to reboot, and then you're like, hold on a minute while I.
Right.
So it's really nice to have a pedal and a plus minus pedal and a play pedal and a stop pedal,
Oh, yeah.
and you can make that show happen. It's kind of cool. And what I find is that the audience, I'm sure this is your experience too, Will. They 1 minute in, 1 second in, they don't care. They just hear music and they see you and you got a guitar and you're playing and you're
sure. Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Nice.
it's like hardcore musicians are like, but as soon as they
No.
realize that you're not doing a Sinatra too
I don't think
badly,
so. I
think
did it.
They get it.
I did a band once. I had a 3-piece band, so I had a drummer, and I had a vocalist, and I had me doing everything else. And the way I accomplished that was I used Ableton Live. I used software, and I had pedals set up so I could go to the next song, and I had it's like a super complicated version of what you have there. But I was doing not only extra drums and percussion, bass, guitars, horns, keyboard
Yeah.
parts, and all
Really
that.
full. Yeah.
And so, so it sounded like a giant band. But when the audience looked up, they saw a singer and they saw a drummer who had a headphone, and they saw a keyboard player, and they saw me doing live solos and all that. And but it wasn't a track act. It was steerable. So
Yeah.
I could push a button and
Oh.
go verse, chorus, so that solo. When I hit
nice.
solo,
Yeah.
I could keep it going. The singer would literally walk off the stage for like 128 bars, and and then when I'm done soloing, I'd hit verse, and
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
we go right into a verse.
yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's very
That's,
nice.
that's cool. That's because it gives you like a lot of flexibility.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of using backing tracks.
No.
U2 uses them. The Police used them. How do you think Taylor Swift has a band of 4 people? How do you think she gets that gigantic sound in
Right.
the stadium? It sounds just like
Sure.
her album. It's like,
Sure.
come on. So, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Use technology, and the audience, they don't really care. You know what
No.
tells you the most that they don't care is that DJs make as much as a whole band or more than a whole band, and they're
Yeah.
just playing the original song, and nobody's
Somebody
like,
else did.
that guy's not even singing. They don't care.
Yeah.
They want to enjoy the music, and they don't care how you're delivering it to them.
Right.
Yep.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
No,
I'm-
that wouldn't
I'm
work
inspired.
it wouldn't work in the folk crowd necessarily. I don't know.
No, that's
Yeah, I
like
don't think-
no.
They
that
might
wouldn't go
string
over.
you up. Can you imagine, like, going to a folk festival and being like,
Yeah. I would not be allowed.
No,
I just would not
no,
be allowed.
you gotta go with your axe and your vox.
It's got to be
Exactly.
just you, just acoustics, just voices, just the real thing. So,
sure,
as
it's
if
sure. All
whatever
right, Will,
recorded,
what
whatever.
else do you got for us?
All right, so I got a surprise for you here. This is a Fleetwood Mac tune. You'll have to guess what it is.
All right,
All
cool.
right, all right.
I'll have to guess what it is too.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And a perfect song to follow the bung swapper thing with.
Right.
It's
You've
like,
got
I
so
just-
many fans. I get emails all the time from people who watch the show, and they go, "We love Will Baird. We love like that." They're
Nice.
like, "Oh, we want to sit home." They're sitting home with their drink, and they're like relaxing and listening to
That's
it.
perfect.
And you
It's
too.
just
I get
what
it for you, too, Nick Carter too, and Bill Nolan and
Oh,
everybody.
I'm sure. No, it's
But
nice.
but I get a lot of comments, like pull out comments from
Sure.
for Will Baird with the, because there's no vocal and it's just very
So
like
soothing. I love it.
ah,
it's very
soothing.
calm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Damn it. Do another. Was that Go Your Own Way, by the way?
That was. Yep.
Yeah.
That was exactly what it was.
Dock
Yeah.
of the Bay, fantastic,
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
right. Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay. That was the best version I've ever heard, man.
I loved it, Will. Thank you. It's what a
Oh, thanks,
pleasure.
Nick.
Very meditative, elegant stuff, not predictable either, even though I recognize the song. I love how you embellish it. You own it, you know?
Thanks. Thank you. I really appreciate that very much. Very
It's
much.
really cool. Do you have another one you want to do, Will, or are you gonna
Oh, yeah,
I'll
love
do
it.
one more if you got time for it.
come
I'll
on? Do one more if you have time. Let's do
Mm-hmm.
one more.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I got it. This is going to be. Am I loud? Is my guitar and everything is loud enough?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm not shy. I would tell you. Yeah.
That's right. Well. Yeah.
Right.
One of our viewers in Asia actually wrote us when you came on the first time, Nick, and she said, "You're all echoing. You're all echoing. All of you are echoing for like a minute." And I'm like, "Okay, we're working on it."
We'll fix that.
Right. The
We
people
want
in
the
Asia
viewers
aren't
to be
going to take
happy.
any crap, you know.
I had someone who came on my show who this is Will's place on Sunday nights, but now only on special announcement. I don't do it every Sunday night.
Right.
But somebody came on the chat now who's speaking in literally in characters I don't even recognize. It's not a language I don't recognize. It's like something Islamic or Chinese or something, but it's not
There are some beautiful alphabets around the world.
That's
like
true.
like Lithuanian. And I don't even know. But there are Eastern European alphabets that I don't know. They look a little Greek, but they
Yeah.
look like flowers. The Thai alphabet looks like that. Beautiful, just beautiful
when
languages.
Bill Gates, when he dropped out of college, he actually dropped into classes for about 2 weeks before they figured out that he hadn't left and kicked him off the campus. And he said his favorite class to drop in on was calligraphy. That was it.
Calligraphy,
because
yeah.
he was fascinated by all the the curves and all of the detail. And eventually, when they created the Mac, he wanted to design it so that it had the capability to have that type of to render that kind of a look and that kind of
Right.
a feel to images. So
I
that-
remember that. I remember when the original Macs, they had fonts, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
font
yeah.
was as much of an innovation for a computer as
choose it,
a
right.
as anything. The idea that a computer could display and print typefaces was. IBM didn't really have that. They had they had the little
Yeah.
ball that went Nobody knows what I'm talking about. And the little IBM
ball.
Selectric ball. It's like you want italics, you put a different ball on. But
I can
Steve
remember
Jobs
that.
wanted that.
Remember that bouncing ball? That's electric. You're right.
Yeah, it
The
had that
Selectric. Yeah, I've got Selectric.
that work?
I have a necklace of Selectric typefaces.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I'll see if
wanna
I can find it. Well, so
Yeah, that's right. Bring that out. We'll see. Well, it is April, so Simon and Garfunkel, their tune about the seasons starting with April kind of makes
Oh,
sense.
nice.
So this is gonna be
All right, cool.
April Come She Will,
Love it.
which I didn't rehearse. So I'm not sure what key it is in.
we're gonna find out.
One, I love it. That song was played at my daughter's wedding.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. What a
I
great
didn't. I didn't
song.
play it, but it's inspired me.
It's such a beautiful song, you know,
It is a
and the whole
gorgeous song.
seasons and all that. You know, it's a good tune. I'm trying to figure out how to convince my son and his fiancée to let me play or sing something at their wedding, and I don't know how to approach them other than to say, "Look, I'm paying for this," you know. And that's not appropriate.
No, I
That's just not-
understand.
you can't do that. That's not.
You
Right.
go to them and you say in a nice way, if you would like to attend your own wedding, then
That's a nice idea. Yeah.
You two better listen. I got a deal for you.
that's it.
If you want to meet down the aisle, here's what you gotta do. Let Daddy play the blues.
Oh
Something.
my God.
I'm sure we go. Yeah, I know.
Well,
It's touchy. It's touchy.
This wedding is, and it's interesting. Weddings these days are not like they were.
In
I want to
ancient
say in our
times,
day, but it sounds
before
so
the
old to say that.
before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Well, that might explain it actually. Now there's all the wedding party is huge. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like 7 bridesmaids and 7 grooms or groomsmen, and then there's the couple. And I mean, when they stand up there, they're going to look like a B-52 Stratofortress about to take
Right.
off because there's just going to be so many of them, huge wings. Exactly, Nick.
Right,
You
right.
know? So and then of course, so they've all got spouses, and then there's an enormous family, and then there's my family, and then there's my former wife's family, and then there's her new husband's family, and then so nobody is invited except family.
Sure.
It's just only
Right.
family, nobody else, no friends,
Right.
nobody. So
No, you know what you do? You do a destination wedding. You're like, guess what, everybody? Great
Right.
news! The wedding is in Guam. And it will cost you six grand to get there. It's on the beach in Guam.
It's
Right.
perfect because you still get wedding gifts even if people don't come.
And they're like, here's your wedding gift. For
Yeah,
take
that's
it.
right. Yeah, I gave you your wedding gift. It was a freaking flight to Guam.
Very good.
Oh my God! So here's what you do: you go to them. This is a segue, by the way. Spoiler alert. You go to them and you say, you can either. I have 2 videos of bands that I'm willing to pay for, and I'm one of them, and the other one is this.
that leaves you speechless, doesn't it? That was beautiful. That just made my heart sing. We have to get
That
you out of the
cracks me
house
up.
more.
I love it.
Wow.
You know what they did? Obviously, you know what they did. They recorded the chicken with the chicken feed, and then
Right.
they wrote the score and
Oh, of
played
course.
it
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
chicken.
Right.
Like, what a great idea. And here's
is
the
brilliant.
worst part. I don't know if you caught the music video. Oh, yeah, you watched the music video I played, Nick Carter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same band.
Is it really?
These guys are brilliant.
They're great.
What's the name of the band? Can you say it?
They're
or do you
called
need to keep it?
Igor, Igorrr. Igor
Really?
with 3 R's.
Igor with 3
Igor
R's.
with
It's
3
pronounced
R's. I love it.
Igor. Yeah.
Igor, yeah. Oh my God! I said chicken one I saw first, and then I saw the other one.
This
I
is
said, I think this whole chicken show theme was a hoax. You had this whole thing planned.
Oh my God!
I love it.
No, I just want Nick Carter to go on after a chicken. That's all.
I know.
Oh, good, because I went
Being
on
even
after.
with me for all those things that I maybe never did, but there it is.
It's like, you are going on after the chicken,
Well, it's better than going on after the.
and
death
it's got a
metal,
cloaca. It's got a. We had a whole discussion on cloacas and eggs.
Oh my
and,
God! Yeah,
And
you missed the
bunghole
cloacas.
droppers, and oh my God!
You are a very lucky man, Nick. Let me tell you.
I love it. Don't play after the chicken. Don't play after the chicken.
Fantastic.
Honey and biscuits, I'll be fine. And it knows his finger licking. Come on, baby, just be mine. Well, I'll roll you in the dough, roll you in the egg wash. Next thing that we do, well, I throw you in the pan. Hard as I can make it, baby chicken just for you.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Just for you, Ed.
you just made that up. I know you
I
did.
know I
Only
did.
on.
I'm
only
not.
on-
I'm not. Every once in a while, when I get inspired, especially by a chicken playing piano, it'll happen.
Only on Jam TV.
Only,
Only
well
on
put.
GMTV,
Exactly.
the chicken theme, cloaca
Only
themed
on-
show today.
Wow. Oh
I
my
love it.
God.
So, Wilbert, I know you said you have to go. Nobody's
should
going to be
run.
upset with you if
Yeah.
you drop off, but great to see you,
I
Wilbert.
apologize. Thanks. Love to hang out, and I'll
good-
see you
good to
guys
see you, Will.
next
Stay
week.
well, man.
Yeah. Take
It
care. Nick.
sounds good. And we will be right back with
All right.
Nick Carter after this message from your sponsor.
Perfect. That's nice. I like that. I like that rhythm track, that horn track.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, if I ever change the night of the show, I got to change all my promos. I got to, you know what? I did those like in the first week of the pandemic. I was
Really?
like, I need wraparounds and promos or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did those, station break, because in the olden times of the show, in like show 100 shows ago, in like show
Right,
4 and
right.
5. The technology did not really work. The internet wasn't working, and it was like we were all freezing, and
Yep.
and so I needed to be like, oh God, I got to figure out some audio problem. So I need 30 seconds. So I'd press a button and it would play a thing.
So are you broadcasting from nearby or in Pennsylvania?
That's nearby. It's not like I'm in Asia, but I mean, yeah, I'm in PA. The Earth is not that large, I
No,
mean,
is it not? That's
you
the
can
damn
get on a
thing.
plane and be anywhere in like old speed, anywhere. Like, I'm not talking about the Chinese hypersonic business jet / nuclear weapon delivery medium. I'm talking
Right,
about
right.
like in a 747, you can like get there in 12 hours, 18
Right,
hours.
right.
It's not so bad.
Exactly. Right. Cruising along at 400 miles an hour. You get there eventually.
Not so bad. The
Right.
planet's not that big.
Get there. So you staying well? Everything okay where you are?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. It's pouring here. Absolutely.
Yeah, same
I hear
here.
there was thunder and it's like rolling through the area. But
Yeah, a
nice
lot of
night to
rain
do a
here.
show.
A lot of rain here today.
So, I want to ask you a question before you
Yeah,
play
yeah.
some songs. We were talking before about accordions, right? And the closest thing I realized that guitar players have a lot of guitars, like I was thinking of you because you have them hanging behind you, and you have the first one you ever had and the best one you ever had, and then I had to get this Telecaster, and I need this Strat, and I need this Rickenbacker, whatever it is, right? And accordion players do the same thing. I have a bunch of accordions that won't play even, but I just want them because they're beautiful, or it was one that I had a long time ago, and they're handcrafted, so you appreciate it. But like, what? You don't have to tell me how many guitars you have, but what makes you keep guitars or buy more guitars?
That's a great question. Great question. Well, often it's the difference between them. Okay. In other words, this one is heavy wood, and it got a great bass response. I have a little guitar over there, Little Calling, which is a much smaller body, but it's a real pleasure to play, and it's got a nice voice to it, and it's small. It's very small. It's much smaller than this thing.
Right.
And then there's that guitar I played the last time we were together that was an archtop electric that had the the muffled strings at the bridge, and often it's the way they feel when I play them. It's the way they feel in my arms, so to speak. And it's there's distinctions between them. I mean, like this Little Callings over here is it's a mini Dreadnought. This has a cutaway, which I actually prefer cutaways. Right. I have a nice little Martin sitting down here that is 20 plus years old, and it was for sale. And I've never really had a high, what I think is a decent quality Martin guitar, and so, say hello to Mary Ann. Here she is.
Right, there you go.
And she sounds great. And what made me buy her is that she had been a wreck. Totally a mess.
Wow.
And Joe over at Connecticut Music, who I know Bill, and I'm sure Will knows too, and maybe you do too. Joe, my God, Rabazzo.
Now, is he the dad? Is Joe the older?
No, Raboazzo.
The younger
so
guy.
Joe Raboazzo is his name.
Right.
Roberts was the name that they ran the store under.
Oh, right.
Joe's dad is the one who's a patriarch of it all. He sadly passed away a number of years ago.
Right.
But Joe was working on this Martin, and he told me the story, and the thing was a wreck, broken all up, and Joe restored it. My God, would you look at that?
The dad at Connecticut Music, I never met him. The one who passed away made this from scratch.
I believe it.
It's a little tiny accordion, and when he passed away, my friend Elwood, Pat Dougherty, brought me by and said, you want this in good hands, so I keep it up on my shelf.
Oh yeah.
And he made this accordion. I took the cover off it so you could see all the action and all that, but literally handmade. Every piece is handmade.
That family is extraordinarily talented musical family, you know. And Joe passed away, and Mike, Joe's brother. Joe is the dad. Joe's still with us. Mike, wonderful guy. Another great Connecticut music guy, passed away sadly 3 years.
And so he renovated that guitar.
Yeah, and he renovated his guitar, and you can still see places where the damage had been done before Joe went to work on it. But it's like any guitar that's been in Joe Raboazzo's hands is good enough for me, because so size and I've got. I'll tell you what, I have one, Ed, that I bought 10 years ago in Presque Isle, Maine. My father passed away 10 years ago, and he was in hospice, and so I had to get my butt up to Maine quick before he passed away. And so I didn't take a guitar with me. And I sat down by his bed. We were together for 2 weeks before he left us, and the first thing he said was, "Where the hell's your guitar?" And I said, "Well, small plane. I had to run to the plane." He said, "Okay, all right." I went down to town in Presque Isle and found this old Yamaha for $100.
Wow.
And it's not here with me right now, but Ed, that thing has a fabulous bass response. $100 guitar, and will I ever part with that guitar? Never.
Now, did you get it at a pawn shop or a music store?
A small music store.
Music store.
$120, and it sounds great, and I'll never part with it. Mainly, because I played it. It was the last music my father heard, and the strings are still on it from then, so it means they're old. But so there's a lot of reasons, sentimental reasons sometimes. That one I'll always hang on to. So size, the look of it, I've got another little guitar that looks like this, but it's a whole lot smaller.
Right.
Lot smaller.
Right.
But it's got a cutaway. There's another one that I have. It's a parlor guitar, and it looks like it was made about 300 years ago. It was not, but it's a little tiny parlor guitar, and it sounds really sweet. So different kinds of appeal, different colors, different patterns on the wood. And I do try to, I've got a few guitars, and if you were to stand them all up, it'd be a safe bet that you probably wouldn't say, oh God, they all look alike, because they wouldn't, you know what I mean?
Right,
so that's another reason.
So when you did the record, that you're going to be putting out soon, did you use one or did you use a number of different guitars on the record?
I used two different guitars. I used this one, and then a lovely Gibson J45 that is actually sitting with Joe Rabuazzo right now because it needs some work. Then his hands are the only hands other than my own that I'll ever trust that thing with. So I used that one, and then an electric. I did play an electric on the song "Wind from the South," which is the one I did here with you a couple of weeks ago, and had that Gretsch plugged in. So 3 different guitars over those songs.
Nice. I can't wait. Can't wait for the record to drop.
It's coming. It's coming. It's not coming yet, but it's coming. So
all right, play us a song and we'll talk some more.
My pleasure. Here we go. So we're going to go back to where my friend Angie used to work a diner. And Angie used to run a diner, and you had to believe that she kind of ran it from the heart. She took care of everybody who ever walked into that place, served day and night, making people feel welcome and comfortable. And when I wrote this song with a friend in Nashville named Kent Agee, one of the things we decided to do was write it from the woman's point of view. And I couldn't help to go back to thinking about Angie, who took such good care of everybody. It made me wonder what she might say if you asked her, after you take care of us all day, Angie, when you go home, who is looking after you? So this is from her point of view. Yeah, I was born here. Yes, I live here all my life. Sat right there in that booth, senior prom. Made that satin dress myself. You can probably tell, but I felt like something special with it on. That boy said he loved me, sitting right where you are now. Swore he'd get us both away. Well, he got away all right, and I'm here every night, making tips I spent yesterday. But I'll pour comfort in your cup and hear your story, though you're only passing through. Yes, sometimes it's almost enough to know that everybody feels the way I do. I used to tell myself I'd turn around some night and see him smiling as the jukebox played our song. But I knew better than that. He'd never coming back. So I buckled up my heart and carried on. I'm pouring comfort in your cup and hearing your story, though you're only passing through. Yes, sometimes it's almost enough to know that everybody feels the way I do. You know that boy, he called just the other day, told me I was his best chance to get love right. I told him he could have tried that song, that line on the girl he left behind, but he ain't gonna find her here tonight. But it was comfort in my cup, and it don't even matter if it's true. Sometimes it's almost enough to know that everybody feels the way I do. Yeah, sometimes it's almost enough to know that everybody feels the way I do. Yeah, I was born here. Guess I'll live here all my life. Comfort in Your Cup.
Very nice. Beautiful song.
Thank you.
Tell me about that song.
Good question. The song, it was written from the performance point of view. I don't know, I guess 5-6 years ago, made friends. I was in Nashville, and I have an earlier album. You probably have a copy of it somewhere. And on that album, there's a song called Comfort in Your Cup, but it's just a narrative. It's a nice song. I like it. I'm very proud of it. I played it here for you guys before. And so I was over lunch with Kent Agee. We were in Nashville, and I was down there trying to make friends and figure out how they do things in Nashville. And he said, you know, what if he said, how would you like to co-write a song and we take it from the woman's point of view? In other words, not a narrative looking in, but woman's point of view. I said, that's really intriguing. And so he wrote some verses, and I did too. And I really did. It made me think of Angie, this lovely lady who ran a diner not far from here. And she really was. She's just great. You know, she's always taking care of you. And it kind of made sense. Okay, so who's looking after her when she's all done looking after us? And so that's kind of how it happened. And it's very much about waiting. You know, it's like, you know, you're standing by. Someone promised you something, and you're trying to keep going, waiting for the promises to get fulfilled, and they never show up.
Right. That's a beautiful song. That's a beautiful song.
Thanks. Yeah.
So you were. Tell me a little bit about. You know, it's interesting.
Sure.
We've kind of been turning Jam TV. Just started turning Jam TV in more of like a. Instead of just talking about the last song and of something funny and all that, we're trying to get to know people a little bit better on the show. And last week we had Dale Allen on the show. I don't know if you caught it, but it was a great segment.
I'm sorry.
Fantastic segment. And you know, we got to know Dale a little bit better. And you, so
yeah.
When did you start playing guitar? Like, what was your musical journey that took you from that day that you said, I got to learn that thing to today? Like, what's that journey like?
Well, that's a great question. And I'll try to give it a nice summary without going on and on and on, because it's a long story, but it goes kind of like this. I first picked up music. I'm the youngest of three, and everybody in the family was musical. My older brother is a very good drummer, and he's about 9 years older than I am, and we're still in touch, and thankfully he's still with us and doing great. But he went away and never took the drums with him. And so I started playing drums and loved it. And that was in grade school. And so that I went from playing drums to singing. And then about halfway through high school, I went to a boarding school, and the guy down the hallway, nice guy, had an acoustic guitar, and he was playing it. And I'd had exposure to guitars. I was in a band when I was in junior high school, but I didn't play guitar. I played drums. So this guy, Scott, had this guitar, and he shared it. He let me play it. So I learned a few chords and realized it was fun to sing and play along with it. And so that's kind of what happened. And then I guess the big story happened maybe in my junior year in school. I'd been a part of the singing group, and we were at this big event. Ed, huge, like a couple thousand people our age were in the audience. And it was like this youth thing. And I was in the singing group that was the entertainment. And we got up on the stage, and I looked out, and we were well rehearsed, and it was like an out of body experience. It was like, I got to keep doing this. We played, but And I remember we had music like this, you read from it as you're saying.
Sure.
And I remember closing the book and letting it down at my feet because I realized I don't need this music. And every time we sang, it was like some kind of out of body experience. It was like I was breaking gravity. And it's like music came and sat on my shoulder and said, "You've got a traveling buddy, whether you want it or not."
That's very cool.
And so on and on through school, I went the traditional route for a long time, was in banking and financial services, got married.
No, but hold on a minute. So this was at high school, right?
I was in high school, right?
So what boarding school did you go to?
A place called Hebron Academy up in Maine.
Cool. And you grew up in Maine. You grew up in like way up there, Maine, right?
Way. You could age a fine wine walking up that way.
Right.
But yeah, so when I went to the boarding school in Maine, and that's kind of when music kind of came and said, it's staying. So went through college, was in Shawanock type bands and a cappella groups,
Right.
did musical theater. After college, music became a stranger for a couple of years because I went back to Maine and was in a business and tried real hard to make it successful. It didn't work out. And then ultimately left that, got married, came down here, and in the mid-'80s reconnected with another folk group. And now the music is always there, but I'm wrestling with this desire to do more in music and be, my wife and I both always worked. And so I stayed the corporate trail for a long time until about 1990. All this time, by the way, I was in bands.
Right.
Playing, and I would take the slow subway downtown so I could sit and write lyrics, and none of those songs you ain't ever going to hear because they're never very good,
That's right. And that's in New York you're talking about.
That's right. I took the 4 or 5 train, and then I take the number 6 downtown because it was a slow train.
So where did you live? Where did you live in the city?
Well, we didn't live in the city. I worked downtown.
Oh, I see. Right.
And so we lived in a little house we began in a garage apartment. We lived over a garage in Cos Cob.
Right.
And I love this. It's actually in the album. I talk about this. Ed, the apartment was so small you could vacuum it from one outlet. I mean, all
That's
done.
funny. That's funny.
And
So you go into the city, but you have to make it downtown. So you'd ride the slow subway, the 456 down.
I'd take the 6 downtown, go to take Metro North to Grand Central, hop on the downtown train, number 6. So I could pop open the travel briefcase and write lyrics.
Right.
And then, ultimately that job was eliminated because they were moving everything back to Germany. It was a Swiss company.
Right.
And they're going back to Switzerland. And actually not an unhappy ending because they asked me to come back to that company about 4 months later on a private consultancy because they had a problem they had to solve and apparently decided I was the only one who could help them.
Right.
But I was in the middle of going back to school to get credentialed to teach music.
Right.
So in the early 90s and early 2000s, I was in school. I've been a musician all my life, but now I was learning theory and how to instruct kids. Went back to school, taught music for 15 years, which you now are aware of.
Right.
And then in 2014 retired so I could do this more often and more frequently.
That's great.
Do the songwriting. And the muse has always been there. It's
it's interesting. You and I share that common experience together of having worked in the non-music world, in the real job world, and then coming out of it and going, I got to get back to doing what I love, which is music.
Right. That's right. Now you grew up in Europe, did you not?
I grew up partly in Europe and partly in Westchester County, and I went to boarding school too. I went to Kent School.
Oh, sure.
And
I know Kent. Yeah.
What's interesting is that I had a couple of great experiences in school. Also, I went to boarding school in Switzerland, actually, in Zug, Switzerland, near Zurich, and on like a princely boarding school on the top of a mountain. You have to take a cable car to get to the school. Like seriously, something out of like a Wes Anderson movie. And there was a choir director there. Francis Stockwell, who was a famous guy who also would direct the Vienna Choir Boys. And
Oh,
so he had
nice.
the Vienna Choir Boys, and he'd do a couple years of that, and then they'd switch somebody in, and then he would go back to the school and teach.
That's
and,
impressive,
And
Vienna
so
Choir Boys.
I joined the choir there, and he would take kids that didn't sing and turn them into the Vienna Choir Boys within a year or two. And so we played, we put the robes on, and we sang in cathedrals all around Switzerland, and it was really great. And that gave me sort of a serious foundation in music. I've been doing music. I played accordion when I was 6, but having somebody that like helps you along and encourages you is great, because then you're like, okay, I'm barking up the right tree here,
Right.
And
Right.
I've never
Sure.
stopped barking up that tree. Like now I'm playing weirdo synthesizers, but it's still all the same stuff ruminating around in my head from the
course it
olden
is.
times.
Yeah, I mean, my Stockwell was back when I was in Caribou. His name was Ken Matthews. He was a very, very nice but very formidable guy. He was the band director. He directed all the band programs. And Caribou, Maine, as far north as it was, his bands won competitions all the time, and represented the Maine in presidential inaugurations more than once. He's very, very, very good director. And my one regret, well, among others musically, is that he left this world before I ever really started doing what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what would have been cool is to sit with
Right.
him and just say, hey, look, you really played a role. And he was like what Vince Lombardi might have been to those, Packard. I mean, just that heavy, so talented and so formidable and so on his game. I'm sure your Professor Stockwell stands in the same light.
Right,
Kind of
exactly.
legend.
You need to see somebody who's reached a kind of a pinnacle in whatever
Right.
they're doing, and then
Right.
you're like, oh, I could maybe aspire to reach some sort of pinnacle in whatever I'm doing.
And in your own way, you model. I mean, it's not like you are him, but there's a modeling, I think, that goes on. There's an emulation
Yep.
by way of inspiration or education. And
Right.
we take a piece. Those people travel with us,
That's true. That's absolutely true. And Francis Stockwell, so a funny story. So I left Switzerland pretty quickly. I was 11,
Uh-huh.
12? 12. I was 12. And we came back to the States really quick, and I didn't really even have a chance to say goodbye to him. And so now it's 20 years later, and I'm in my 30s, and I have a beard. I had a long beard in my 30s. I had a long beard, and I'm I was at Executives. I wore suits and jackets and whatever. Like I didn't wear shirts like this. Here are my IBM Selectric balls.
Oh, God damn it! There they are.
There they are.
Amazing. I love it.
And so I didn't dress like this back then. And so I was traveling in Europe, and I said to the woman I was traveling with, I said, so let's go to my school. Let's go see what's there. So I said, I want to go see whatever happened to this guy, Francis Stockwell, and whatever. And it was summer, and school was out of session, whatever. But I remember where his apartment was, and I figured if I knock on the door of his apartment, which was in the dorm, then maybe who's ever there will tell me where he comes from. And I knock on the door, and he opens the door.
No.
And he hasn't seen me since I'm 12, right? And he goes, oh, my God, Ed Train.
Holy cow. Isn't that great?
It's really great. So now he lives in the United States. He's got to be, I don't know, he's got to be 80. And he's a choir director of the Land O'Lakes Choir up in Minnesota, which is a famous boys choir.
How cool.
Yeah.
And do you stay in touch? Have you?
We're Facebook friends, and we stay in touch
that's
a little
nice.
bit. Yeah.
That's perfect. How cool is that?
Hopefully, he
That's
watches Jam TV. Sees
Yeah.
the effect that he had on me in life.
Absolutely. Great
All right,
story.
do another song, and we'll talk some more.
Sure, my pleasure. Okay, here we
cool.
go. So this one. So David Wilcox wrote a song once, and it was about a woman dancing at a big open air festival. And the thing is that this woman is very fascinating, and she's very pretty, and she's dancing, and everybody, all the guys are very interested, and they're very fascinated by this woman. But once you get around close enough to look at her, in the front of her T-shirt, there's something written, and it says, "I'm just dancing, okay? I'm just dancing." And so this song is about a girl, old-fashioned girl. She's the kind of girl you're always glad when you see her coming. She's a party girl. She loves to dance. She loves bourbon. She likes country music. But she'll take your hand mainly because she just loves the band. So don't get any ideas. It's called Old Fashioned Girl. music coaxed her off the street. She's always got a dance floor beneath her feet. She might take you by the hand, but only 'cause she loves a band. You'll want her lipstick closed. She's two-step trouble in a straight-up doze. Just bow when she lifts her glass and puts it down and dances past. She's an old-fashioned girl on the dance floor alone. Men drinking every move. They wanna take her home. She's whiskey and bitters with a twist and a sugar smile. On Friday night, she dips her finger in, gives that ice a swirl. She's an old-fashioned girl. She slaps her hand down on my stool. Been so long since I've seen you. Here's to another dance. Gotten me drinking to a second chance. She's a gypsy in amber light. She takes me back to high school nights. Bright smiles and then a kiss. A cup of comfort to our lips. She's an old-fashioned girl on the dance floor alone. Men drinking every move. They wanna take her home. She's whiskey and bitters with a twist and a sugar smile. On Friday night, she dips her finger in, gives that ice a swirl, and she's an old-fashioned girl. The mix will hit me hard if I'm not careful. She'll go straight to my head, but I can't let her. She's an old-fashioned girl on the dance floor alone. Men drinking every move. They wanna take her home. She's whiskey and bitters with a twist and a sugar smile. On Friday night, she tastes a finger, gives that ice a swirl. She's an old-fashioned girl. She's an old-fashioned girl. Old-fashioned girl. So,
Very nice.
a party girl.
I always love that tune. That's a great tune.
Thank you. Thank you. So what corporate work did you do?
I was in. So when
If
I
you
was
don't mind my curiosity.
when I was 23 years old, I moved to New York. I had gone to film school.
Oh, okay.
I was doing everything I could to resist my father's encouragement that I would get into business, serious
Yeah,
business.
sure.
And so I went to film school and I freelanced in the television business, and then I ended up raising some venture capital when I was a kid. Like I couldn't do it today.
Okay.
And starting a television company in the city.
Nice.
And then, businesses don't always work out.
I
Like you said something about that. They don't always
Yeah.
work out like you plan. And
No.
and so the industry in New York changed, and so we had to get out of that business. And my venture capital backers pulled me along into an aviation business that they were doing, and I traveled around the world running an aviation venture capital firm, and
How cool.
that was pretty cool. And then I got into a lot of different things. I was in financial services, auto finance, and then this new thing, the internet, came along, and I did some
Sure.
internet related stuff. And it was eating my soul. Like, that sounds trite, right? Like, I was doing it and I was working really hard from in my early 20s until my late 30s. I was working really, really hard, and I had 5 lifetimes during that time, but it wasn't really me. It wasn't me.
Sure.
And this is more me, like, yay,
Right.
like music and helping people with music and entertaining and all that. So when I got to a certain stage, I just said, that's it. I quit.
Yeah.
I moved onto a boat and I became
That's
this,
right. I
this
remember
guy.
that boat. Right.
And that was so long ago, I don't even remember, all of that. But that was my, my business stint that I did for a number of years. And
Sure.
Thank goodness I got that out of my system.
Yeah, no, I can, I can relate to being, very much involved in a profession that, you might be making a living at it and getting things done in it, but it's not who you are.
You know, it's strange.
And it's
Like I remember when I was a kid. You probably remember this that we didn't know what Russia was, and I'm not getting into the war in Ukraine. That's not where this is going. But there was the Soviet Union, and we were like, oh, they're different. They're different people. Like we wonder about the Chinese like that. The answer is the people are not the problem. The people in Russia, the people in China are not the problem. It's the governments, right?
That's right.
But in those days, I remember, there was such a fierce Cold War going on between the ideologies. There still is, right?
Right.
And between capitalism and communism and all that. And we didn't know what those people were about. Oh my God, what story was I going to tell you? Now I got sidetracked. I lost my train of thought. All right, you do another song, and I will regain my thoughts, and we will revisit this afterwards.
We were talking about Russia, I think.
Yeah, so we will come back and talk about that.
All right, no problem.
Do another song for us.
My pleasure. That's so funny. So speaking of being in a career and then wishing it was different, this is called Guitar Will Be My Compass. My guitar will be my compass. And this is about finding your way, finally. Winter 78, I finally quit the band for a job back home with family. Just did not see the trouble coming down as my guitar became a stranger to me. Fresh out of school, steady paycheck in hand, my pockets full of cash, an office in the field, helping farmers work the land 3 good years before the crash. Then the market broke the farms, and banks came calling for the keys. I closed up shop, and I watched the bridges burn. A hometown wasn't home to me. The right road don't always lead you home, and the wrong ones are paved with alibis. But if my guitar is my compass when I go, I'll find my road. And my songs will be the stars I'm guided by. Went to work on Wall Street, found no peace of mind. Started playing downtown bars. Finally broke away and left the suits behind and traded stocks for tips in a jar. The right road don't always lead you home, and the wrong ones are paved with alibis. But if my guitar is my compass when I go, I'll find my road. And my songs will be the stars I'm guided by. Here we go. On a corner, you find me now in Soho, and I'm playing like I'm paying off a debt. My guitar case catching quarters for a solo, but it's better than a promise never kept. Oh, it's better than a promise never kept. Right road don't always lead you home, and the wrong ones are paved with alibis. If my guitar is my compass when I go, I'll find my road. Oh yes, I will. The right road don't always lead you home, and the wrong ones are paved with alibis. But if my guitar is my compass when I go, I'll find my road. And my songs will be the stars I'm guided by. Oh yeah, my songs will be the stars I'm guided by. Now come, my friend, help me find my road. Yeah, now help me find my way home and be my compass when I go. Take it out.
That was great.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Guitar will be my compass.
I
Yep.
love that tune. And I
Thank you.
remembered what I was talking about.
All right, let's hear it.
So, you know, you in Russia, they always talked about the Communist Party, right?
Right,
And they're
right.
like, oh, so and so was a member of the Communist Party. Like,
Right.
and in the context of America, we're like, I don't know, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or whatever. And then like in the 50s, maybe in McCarthy, like, oh, you're a member of the Communist Party. And like it was like, but
Right.
in Russia, I thought, well, everybody's a member of the Communist Party. It's a Russian thing. Everybody's a communist. But in fact, that's not true.
Right.
And in America, we're like, oh, we're free. We're not a member of a party and whatever. What it meant was that in Russia, if you joined the party, you became part of the government and you got a car maybe and you got a nice house and you got a dacha, a vacation house, and you would have a better life if you were like part of the system. And we have that here. And it's like you're joining the capitalist party, which is like, get
I
yourself
see.
a real job. That's where I was going with this.
I
Go
see.
get
That's
yourself
fair.
so you're a musician, you're an artist, you're a filmmaker, whatever I was,
Right.
and you had creative tendencies when you were younger, and you
Yep.
you were discovering it as you were figuring out who you were as a person. You
Yep.
figured out, wait a minute, I have a creative side that must be served. I've got to get
Yeah.
out there, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
is it whatever creative itch or ego or whatever it is that you
Yep.
you have to do it. You know you have to do it, and yet there's capitalism that you have to like. Oh, you got to be a leader. You got to be a.
Right.
You want to get something for your family, so you got to have a house, and you can't do that playing the guitar. You know, you got to get a real job, and so we get pulled away from the things that we love in the world, like music and art and things that are considered by capitalism to be, well, that's a good hobby. That's good for somebody else, but you know, get a real job, make some money. You know, be an upstanding citizen, and I'm so happy that I can be a bum and a musician now. I love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it whatever form the truth takes for us is very important. And yeah, you know, no need to apologize, and you're not apologizing. But I mean, it's like no need to apologize for this.
But I
folks.
was for
It's who we
years.
are.
I would
Right,
say to
same-
my
same
dad,
here.
like, Dad, I just want to be in a band and I want to like make movies. And he'd be like, oh, my son, like a crazy son, you know, the creative one. And
no, I know.
and I was apologizing to him because he had expectations. So I went, all right, I guess I'm going to have to prove that I'm an American member of the Capitalist Party. And we both
Right.
did that.
Yeah, no, I that's where I grew up. My father was a businessman, and he was a musician too. But they were very nervous when I announced to them, "Gee, I've really discovered this thing. It's music," and they were aware of the talents, whatever talents I had. They were evident by then,
Right.
and but they were very, they said, "Please don't do this."
My dad blamed my mother. It must be your side of the family that he takes
Well-
after with that music thing, you know?
Well, I have older siblings, and they were rebellious back then, and this was Vietnam War era, and they were rebellious. And I remember my parents saying, "Please don't go do what they did. Don't make us worry like your sister and brother made us worry."
Right.
And so for a while, I complied. I own the decision. I don't blame them anymore, and I
Right.
stopped blaming them a long time ago. It's my deal. But
Right.
anyway, well, this has been fun, Ed. I love this. This is great. One-on-one interview.
It's really, really great. Do you have one more song you can do for us
Sure,
before we
sure.
call it a day?
Sure, love to. Happy to do that. Absolutely.
wait.
Okay, here we go. So, as I used to ride downtown, in the years just before I stopped commuting, I used to go through Grand Central, and there was a woman there, and her name is Wendy, and she is for real. She is a very talented subway singer in New York, and highly and well known. I don't know exactly what she's doing these days, but she's a very accomplished busker. And this is for her and anybody else who's ever done that on a subway platform. I got it right. Here we go. When I followed her voice underground, through the tunnels and the noise, I tracked her down. She was singing by the turnstiles to a city on the run, passing out pieces of her heart in every song. She's singing way down here, something never changed, never changed. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. Yeah, here we go. She's there each day when I come rushing by. She says, I'll trade you a story for your time. Well, it's an endless procession. She serenades the ebb and flow. She might wish we'd pay attention. She never lets it show. She just says, way down here, something never changed. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. What's reliable and real? It's the way the music makes you feel, and the rhythm of the ride that takes you home. Off singing now. Oh, oh, oh. Well, if I just stop and listen to her song, the music stays with me all day long. But I gotta go, so I drop it and gotta leave again and keep my day on track. Without word, she smiles. We both know I'll be back, 'cause it's way down here, something never changed. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. Oh, it's so nice to know that good things never change. Talking about music and the rumble. Talking about music and the rumble. Talking about music and the rumble of the train. Ah, ooh, oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Rumble of the train.
So nice. I appreciate the train reference as always.
Yes, you are right. Right. Something never changed. Music
So
and the
did you
rumble
write-
of the train.
Did you write it on the subway?
This one, no. Actually, no. This one was written a few years ago. I was done teaching, and but I remember this Wendy. I remember her very well. I don't. She'd remember me because I was one among many commuters, you know. But
Sure.
but no, this was not born on the subway, but it might as well have been. That you know that the chug of the train, so to speak. So.
Fantastic. Nick
Yeah.
Carter, thank you so much.
Hey, Ed, thanks for making it possible. Thanks for reaching out today. I'm glad
Yeah.
we could do this.
Fantastic. And
All
we're
right.
going to be wrapping up Jam
All
TV very
You stay
shortly.
well.
I want to play for you while we're playing the show out a clip because summer's coming. We're all going to be playing
All right.
outside and festivals. This is Fatback of the Urban Plowboys playing in Passaic, New Jersey. And
All
I'll
right.
see you soon on Jam TV, Nick Carter.
You will, Ed. Thanks again.
Gary Olear. Okay, we'll be back very shortly. We're back in the Urban Popeyes. Gary Olear, Ed Train, Dave Lift, Dean Goldman, Courtney Coletti, Artie Bressler, and I'm Dave Hirsch.
And that is Jam TV Show 105. We will see you all very soon from our studios in the mountains of Pennsylvania. Ed Train, I'll see you soon.
Drexler on the team.
That was quite a show.
We're out of drop now. Yeah, taking a stand.
Oh, wow.